Hey y'all, my name is Joseph, and today we're here with Pickleball Central, shooting the Keeping It Simple series, where we break down some of the fundamental concepts that anyone can use to improve your pickleball game. So one of the most overlooked skills in pickleball is the athletic stance. Now, what I find most common in newer players is having a very upright stance with locked knee. And what we want to do is find a stance that allows us to move in any direction without having to take an extra step. So to find our athletic stance, all we need to do is widen our base, bend our knees, get our weight on the balls of our feet, tighten our core, and keep our chest up. And as the Keeping It Simple series, we're going to break that down into something that's a little more digestible. So what I like to tell people is to imagine you're guarding someone in basketball, or you're playing goalie in soccer, or any other sport where you're really trying to keep something from getting past you. And when I say that, players start to kind of instinctively do all of those things where they're getting lower, they're getting on the balls of their feet, and they're ready to explode in any direction. And a great way to test this is to get in your athletic stance and see if you're able to push off to the left, push off to the right, move up forward, and jump, all from the same starting position. And we'll work on this with some drills moving forward. So we always want to put our body in the correct position to be able to hit the ball with the highest chance of success. Now that's usually keeping the ball right in front of us, and we're going to use this shuffle, lunge, and pivot to always make sure our contact point is in front of our body so that we can hit any ball from the correct position. The shuffle allows us to quickly move side to side while maintaining our center of balance so they're always ready for the next shot. So when you watch higher level players, you'll see them shuffling on every single point, even when they're not moving to the ball, just so that their body is in position to hit the next shot. A couple really important things to keep in mind during the shuffle is to keep your weight low and in your athletic stance so that you're ready to move back or forward at any point in time. And when you do move, make sure not to let your heels click or cross over one another so that your weight is constantly staying in between your feet and never getting outside of your hips. When a ball bounces short in the kitchen or when a dink pulls us out wide, we need to be able to get to the ball in a hurry and get under the ball, both to make that shot most effective. So when we're lunging, we're going to send one of our legs out and use our knees to get us down below the ball, all while keeping our chest up so that we can look at our target and maintain our balance. So in the lunge, we still want our legs to be outside of our waist so that we can keep balance throughout the whole shot. What we want to avoid is bending at the waist or using our lower back to get us to the ball. It's both hard on the lower back and it's not the most efficient or balanced way. It's going to make it really hard to get back into position to hit the next shot. Now the pivot comes into play most when we're adjusting our body at the baseline to put ourselves in a closed stance in order to hit a drive, whether forehand or backhand. But we can also use it at the kitchen line to adjust our body to move back or forward to keep that ball in front of us while hitting it instead of getting jammed up at our hips or having to reach in too far. So we can use the pivot and the shuffle together to handle one of the most frustrating shots in pickleball, which is the lob. Now what I see a lot is players backpedaling and just pushing their weight straight back while walking backwards in order to get the ball above their head. And what we lose here is that stability from the back foot. And there's nothing really stopping our body from tipping over backwards. Whereas when we pivot and shuffle, we now have a foot that's behind our body moving backwards that we can both stop ourselves from falling over and push off of when it comes time to hit that overhead winner. One of my favorite drills to work on these skills is a drill I like to call handball. Now we can set our paddles down for this one, just grab a ball and a partner, and both stand at the opposing kitchen line for one another. And what you're going to do is toss the ball over to your opponent, trying to make them move side to side, front to back, short, using shuffles, lunges, pivots. You can even throw an overhead ball in there so they can work on their pivot and shuffle. And you can turn it into a game with one another where you're almost trying to beat your opponent while also using those movement patterns yourself. So if you take nothing else from this video, working on the athletic stance in your game will make one of the biggest impacts from day one. Then we can start incorporating those lunges, shuffling, and pivoting into your games to get in position to the ball quicker, and I guarantee you're gonna start to see some positive results. Now, if you like this content or you wanna see more like this, please consider subscribing to our channel. And as always, if you need any pickleball gear at all, please check us out at pickleballcentral.com.